Hey, before we start, I just want to point out that this is not a tutorial. I'm just experimenting with different styles and techniques. That being said, I hope the video is entertaining and maybe you learned something along the way. Okay, sorry for my voice if it gets a little bit weird. I just came from the dentist. My mouth kind of hurts right now, but let's get into this. Okay, so essentially, my idea is based off of a picture. And that picture is this one. So this one I actually edited already. Let's see if here's the base. So this is the base one, and let's get these side by side. Okay, so the difference between these obviously is that this one's a lot like brighter, shifted orange. That's not necessarily what I'm going for. What I'm actually going for is if we zoom in, maybe this one isn't a good example, but this one might be. How yeah, like right here, how there's these like maybe red or purple triangles with these greenish ones. Now it's, I believe, an artifact from the camera that I was using because it was low light. I mean, even in the highlights you can see it though, but I think it was just like on a low light setting, so it like boosted the ISO. Whatever the thing is, I like that effect, and I would like to put it on pictures that don't have this sort of quality, because it is somewhat low resolution. So I'd like to put this like, you know, grainy effect, because it kind of looks what is it, iridescent. Looks a bit iridescent. So that's what I'm gonna try to make, is a texture that I can overlay on stuff. I'm not quite sure like what blending mode or anything I would use to actually make it happen, but we can figure that out later. So I suppose I'll just leave this up here. And I mean, I have Photoshop up right now, but the what I'm actually gonna be doing is making this in Blender. If you don't use Blender, that's fine. There's plenty of ways to do this, I'm sure, in Photoshop. I don't know them straight up. That's why I'm using Blender, because I kind of have an idea of what to do. But if you're using Photoshop, you can, anything you can use to manipulate pictures, you can use to figure out and make this. So essentially, the idea is that I'm going to be using a Voronoi texture, and then I'm going to be blurring the edges a bit, which there's two ways that I could do that if the first one doesn't work out. Okay, so let's go to shading. And this honestly, this is not a Blender tutorial. I'm not really going to teach you the ins and outs and this, that, the rendering. I'm just going to kind of set this up. I mean, all I'm going to say really for this is that I'm just making it look as 2D as possible. So just got a plane. We have a camera. I'm using Eevee, which is a or it is PBR, but or photorealistic. But it's not, it's in real time. That's the word I'm looking for. Okay, so I want to make this a square. 1080 is good. Yeah, that's fine, whatever. I can always bump up the scaling. But anyway, so we're going to add a new texture. Also, what's nice in Eevee is that you can do like non-PBR. I guess that's what I was looking for before. You can do non-PBR. So let's delete this. Let's just add our Voronoi. I'm probably going to be adding a color ramp. Hey, look, here we go. Probably be adding a color ramp to maybe change it to the green and purple, but I'm not sure yet. This is, I'm pretty sure, the one we want, but we want smooth F1. Because, I mean, do you kind of see where I might be going with this, you know? Because there's these cells here, and then there's the cells here. I just have to figure out how to make it look like that. And I suppose let's just throw a ramp on there right now, and then lighten this up, because it doesn't, I just want the cells though. Let's see what happens if I do this. Okay, it's not exactly what I want. Let's see what type of stuff. Cells, no, because the baseline, oh, here, let's just try flipping it first. And then, yeah, I suppose. It's just, this is a little bit too bright, I think. And that's a little bit too segmented. Because I've done it before, I know I have. It's not a color ramp, because if we put this into, oh, well, okay, let's do it this way. This probably isn't the best way to do this, but right here, let me Oh shit, it is getting crazy outside. A little bit of thunder, a little bit of lightning, very frightening. I did the Teen Titans episode always. Okay, so let's... Oh, okay, it's in the roughness, that's why. Yeah, okay. Okay, we're getting somewhere. And then let's just distribute and reset color ramp. I mean, it's not exactly what I want. It's close enough. Here, maybe it's just a different... Oh, maybe F2. No, not at all, not at all. So F1, just regular F1 if we use scale. That's kind of a fun animation, fun bubbly animation. Suppose, I mean, this is kind of, I don't know how to color that though. I was gonna say, I could turn the dark, it's glossy. I could turn the, let's do this first, RGB, or shader RGB. Yeah, something like that, right? Color ramp. Whatever. I think I could just do this, to be honest. I just connected directly because I switched it up. Yeah, that's pretty much what it was. It was glossy, so this just needs to be lightened. Yeah, whatever. Looks decent enough. I mean, that's kind of it, right? It's kind of the same thing. I mean, what I was looking for is more like close up and together, like directly on each other. But it's actually kind of looking like that's what it would look like. Now the issue that I'm thinking of now, or that I can kind of foresee now, is the issue of coloring, because I was gonna have the light color be, let's say, green, and then the dark color be purple. But all of the colors here are whatever. I sometimes just lose my train of thought. So what's gonna happen is, let's see if we can mess with something. Let's just have two opposite colors. So that's gonna be the center color. This is the base. Okay, so let's turn this to black. So yeah, I kind of want something like this, right? Kind of looks like orbs, look 3D orbs somewhat. It is just a matter of, I want like every one of these orbs, these segments, to be either one or the other. What I could do, maybe, I just really thought if I did a mix shader, or not a mix shader. Oh man, Voronoi. I just thought if I did a Voronoi, let's just plug that in and see what happens. Oh wait, what if it's color? Fuck. Oh, that's what it was the whole time. Color. Okay. I'm sure people who have used Blender were screaming at me. They knew what was happening. But this is what I wanted. You see how there's multiple colors here? I think if I do this right, I could do color ramp, put that in there, and now it's either one or the other. Nice. I can just put this to constant if I really. But I kind of want different. So if I did constant, it'd be something like this. But I want something different. I want something that that fades and whatnot. So let's do something like this, where we'd go to ease or something. It doesn't matter. Let's just put it back to stripe E-spline. It's probably linear that I wanted, but okay, let's do this. And then scale this up a bunch. Yeah, so this is exactly what we're looking for here. This is too dark, so let's do that. So right now, I am just going to export this as is, essentially. So let's go F12. So now we just get this, nice looking thing. Let's save this out. Save. Let's put this in. Where am I going? Assets. Go back. Nope. Too far. Assets. Go back to projects. It's going to be 2022. Practice. Fuck around. Shitpost. And then let's put this in mess arounds, and then let's add a folder. I would like to add a folder. Let's call this retro perp green war. So the two options that I have are color it in Blender or color it in Photoshop. I would prefer to color it in Photoshop only because I have more control. If I don't want it to be purple and green, then it doesn't have to be. I can change the gradient map to be anything I want. And then let's grab a picture. Okay, so this one was taken with the same camera. So let's see. Yeah, it already kind of has that effect on there. What we can do, this is just for purely testing out the filter purposes. Let's actually duplicate this so we can compare it. It's actually a pretty nice comparison. Let's just blur. I'm just trying to think. No, let's do well, first smart object, and then we're gonna do a noise reduction. Yeah, reduce noise, because then what we can do is make it a little bit more blanketed. It's hopefully going to reduce some of the reduce color noise. Sure, preserve details. Yeah, that's probably good enough for now. Let's do that. It's just going to change it, to more black and white. And actually, that's looking good, so let's just hit it again. We could just hit it a couple times, to be honest. It's going to look really blurry, but that's fine. Let's do reduce noise again. Okay, yeah, so that's looking kind of blurry. So that's before, that's after. I mean, this is a pretty decent tip if like you don't need stuff to look super realistic, because it's starting to look a little bit painterly. Oh, that's actually looking pretty nice. I think if I hit it a couple more times, maybe some other effects, I could make something decent out of it. But I mean, I'm just thinking like, let's just test this out real quick right now. So if we just get rid of this entirely, we could have like a real life scene that's shot with a camera and not like rendered or painted. And then let's bring this brush down a lot. And then we could just expose some of the parts that we would want to be painted, kind of like that. Or let's say like we want this to be the focal point. We could just like distort everything around it. So it's kind of it's like a way to do maybe a like a lens or like a depth of field, kind of a way to do depth of field, except without depth of field, so you just have one really sharp object and then a bunch of fade. This isn't like something I do, this is just something that I thought would be cool, and it kind of is. I actually do kind of like it, but anyway, that is not the effect that we are doing now. Let's turn that back on, and then let's drop in, let's throw up a new window, and then where do we put that? Okay, so we have this picture now. Let's just make sure it's embedded and all that. Let's scale it. It's gonna look a little wonky scaled like this. I didn't blur it in Blender, but I mean I might render it out again. We'll see. What I was gonna do is if I do this and go to smooth, it actually blurs it. Whoa, that looks good though. That kind of is exactly what I need. So okay, oopsie doopsie. Forgot to do that. Let's just render that out. Image and save texture 2 or just 2. That works as well. Bring it back here. It's gonna be the same scale. That's fine though. It'll be okay. Think it'll be okay. If it's not okay, I might cry. That's probably not okay. That's fine. We are going to now just see if there are any blending modes here that actually look decent, and that's kind of a good one. I mean, that kind of matches. Okay, so then the next step then would be putting a color gradient over there, and we could do that or gradient map. We only want it to affect our color here, and we're just going to, and I don't know the exact colors I want to use or the exact like tones. That's probably, I probably want darker, right? Yeah. And then we can do purple. Purple's kind of overshadowing everything. But that's fine. We can just shift. Nope, not that. We could just shift this over. Okay. No, that's actually getting somewhere. Kind of digging that. Yeah. I honestly, okay, I'm not gonna say we got it or anything, but like this is pretty much what I wanted. Obviously, if it was smaller, and actually we could do that. We could just overlay it and zoom in. Let's give that a shot. Yeah. I mean, in comparison, here we can. No, that's not what I wanted. We can actually do a comparison. Control G, group yeah, right? And zoom in. This is before. This is after. So I think it looks pretty good. Let's try, because I mean, it's not going to look exactly, and I know why. It's because we blurred it so much. There's no texture behind it. If you will notice, if we turn it off, how much texture there is. So there's actually two parts of this as well. I'm just gonna try. I could maybe try the second one. Video is getting a little long, but I mean, if you're in for this long, you're probably in for the long haul. What I was thinking is putting noise inside of this effect. So I mean, let's just screw it. Let's just get it close. Filter, and then I want noise, and then to add noise. That's looking kind of funky. Oh, that's because the gradient map's applied to it. Let's put that above. Yeah, so that's kind of it. But I need this. I need this base picture here to have this in it, right? So let's turn this off for now. This is way too much. Yeah, that's fine. Oh, there we go. So I mean, soft light's kind of coming in clutch. Not gonna lie, I think soft light's the way to go. Yeah, so this is more what I was looking for. Ideally, we could make this bigger so it kind of matches. Let's show these transforms. Let's make this bigger. It kind of slows down when you go too big, and it's a little extreme. So let's just fuck with the levels. No, none of that is what I want. I want to do this and then this. So kind of fade it out a bit. Yeah. So we're not getting, exactly close, but that's good enough. And then let's see what happens if we turn this on. Oh, wow, it looks like absolute garbage. That's interesting. Let's merge. And then because then the noise is applied to this layer as well. So actually what we want to do is merge these three. And actually what I do sometimes if I'm going to do a big change like that is just make a whole new group and then turn off the rest of them. This is all because I put like 8 different filters on that one just to make it look all good. I probably should have just... Okay, we're in it though. We're in the thick of it. Okay. So then we're going to turn these off, and then what I can do is just merge these together. Merge. I can't just merge layers, huh? Interesting. Because there's an option for merge visible. So maybe if that's all that's visible, but I'm assuming it's gonna... Oh, no, I can. Oh, that is actually something I didn't know I could do. Because a lot of times when, and actually I know the reason why I was messing up. It's because of this, which one is it? Soft light. This is on soft light. When you compress it or like just merge layers selected, it'll go back to normal. So that's why it looked all like bad and flat and just completely green. But then if we, and I guess I just learned this now, if we just have all these on and then merge visible, I suppose visible is more of like the optical term. So like whatever is visible like on the screen, it's going to collapse and look exactly like that. Cool. Wow. Okay. So maybe we just need to fix this then. Yeah, no, because it is, that's the thing. Oh, didn't want to do that. It is showing up. You can kind of see it there. It's just a little bit off. This purple is a little too strong, and maybe we do shift it to like, yeah, oh, here we go. Yeah, there. So it just needs to be a little bit darker. It was overpowering because the green was is a little bit darker too. But then let's see what happens if we, no, that's too much green. Let's find a good balance. That's probably good. So this is gonna add I would imagine a better texture to this overall. And then I just need to merge these. So merge layers. That should be fine, yeah. And then let's put this back to soft. So it is darkening the image, which I don't necessarily like, but I do like the texture that it's adding. And I suppose there's a lot of, since this image already had that, it's kind of looking the same, but let's just like overlay it over this whole thing. So actually what we could do then is, I thought this was a group, oops. You know, so we have the before and the after, which, you know, I think this is as far as I kind of want to take it. The main principles and what I am going to change after this, I just don't feel like doing it right now. I've been going on long enough, and I have the basic principles that I wanted to show down. So what I would do, actually looking at this again, is not just a green and purple. I would probably add like the opposite tone of what the entire image is. So when you look at this, and probably when you average it, it's going to look more of like a blue or a dark blue. So what I would do is add like a bright yellow. So I would try putting the exact opposite color in as well, because I do see I see greens and purples, but I'm also seeing like right here and here that there are some yellow tones as well. So I think it's more of a tritone instead of a two-tone thing. Another thing is use an image that has that doesn't have the effect applied, but has does not have the effect applied, but has texture to it. That's because that's something that was missing. That's why these look so weird, is because it's all like, you know, there's no texture to it. It's just kind of like, you know, it's kind of there. It looks more painted than anything. So I would use a better image as a base. I would add some yellows. Maybe find a different blending mode. That helps the image a bit more, like look more like the image. Because then there is another thing that I could do. Let's see. These aren't really good representations. What did I do before soft light? Yeah, so I mean, let's just say it is soft light, and if we turn off the effects, like there is a pretty big difference. You can see like all the greens and stuff there. What we could do maybe is just use the layer mask to bring it out of the light colors. You know, try to like fade it in a bit more. So if we take a look, just reset that. This is, let's just look here. This is when it, so this is when it is kind of shifted, and that's when it's not. And you can see, that's when both of them are off. You can see the big difference. Like this, this one right here is where I just put it in the dark areas, because that's kind of where the noise is, right? If something is exposed, you're not going to have the noise. If something is dark, you will. So it actually kind of makes more sense to do this. And then I think with everything else I've said and like all put together, which I'm going to add adding more resolution to this, because this is kind of small for the type of image that it is. I would probably have to upscale it by like 5 or 6 times probably, and put it in high resolution so that it just doesn't get blurry and look gross. But I think in terms of the actual effect, the color, I think we're close. You know, and every time I look at it, I'm seeing more of like a rainbow of color. So maybe you just do use a rainbow. You use maybe like a lighter pastel, more just less aggressive tones and colors for this here. And I'm sure you can use any color, but that's kind of what I'm seeing here. So I mean, I suppose that'll be that for this video. Because this is the first one I'm going to posting, I'm just going to say that these are just videos that I sort of make for myself. I would do this anyway. I record all the sessions that I do, but it just might be kind of fun to speak aloud what I think in my head because sometimes when you speak something, it helps you understand it more. Like when you hear it out loud, you can understand, oh, that doesn't sound right or whatever. But and I also think that it might just be interesting to see somebody else's process from a viewer's point of view. I know a lot of the times I'll go on YouTube just for a specific tutorial. I need to know this specific thing, whatever. But a lot of the times, the big revelation moments, the big moments where just kind of like I get excited about the art, the stuff that I do, is when I just find out something in a program I've been using, or I just find out a new principle or a new tool that can do this, that, the other. And I feel like I do a lot of stuff. I have a decent workflow for a lot of things. I use tools and I have processes that I don't really see online that much. So I'm just kind of hoping that somebody, someone, anyone, everybody can extract some sort of information. 'Cause that's all I'm trying to do here, is just kind of like give out information in less of a tutorial way and more of a quote unquote like intermediate to advanced user way. Like, you've used the programs before, you kind of know what I'm doing. It's just like maybe the sequence of events, maybe the like, you know, baseline principles, like, or maybe even like you love Photoshop, you're the best at Photoshop, but you never knew about Blender and the fact that you can like do stuff like this in Blender. Because to make this in Photoshop, I mean, it would probably take me a couple, you know, maybe 20-30 minutes to figure out. Maybe that's just guessing, but here, you know, it's like it took me like 2 minutes. I mean, that being said, I use Blender a lot, but it's the point being is, like, you know, if you use Photoshop, if you use any other program, use animation software, whatever, use After Effects, you might not know about just stuff that like a 3D software, what a 3D software can offer that could help you in your 2D, you know, workspace. So that's kind of just what I'm hoping. I take pictures throughout the day. I think of things, and I just think that maybe somebody could benefit from it. And if they do, that's great. And if not, I have documentation for myself. With that, I will say have a good day. Good luck, have fun, and make something, I guess.